All right, so let's talk about your 80-year-old self and their meal plan. So the reason I'm having this conversation, and this is, I'll be honest with you, this is probably mostly geared toward women. I have seen in the time I've been coaching a really interesting shift, which is when husbands are away for work-related things or kids are away, they're going to college, and moms don't have kids and husbands to contend with at home, they kind of stop meal planning. They kind of stop planning out what they're going to eat and just kind of surfing from meal to meal. And they don't really want to meal plan. It's very interesting. And here's the thing. You know I love my Gigi and I share information about her here. She's almost 92. She doesn't meal plan and she manages her weight. You want to know why? Because she eats pretty much the same few meals that she cooks at her apartment. And she goes to Subway, she gets her specific sandwich, she even has them pull the bread out of the middle. She goes to Wendy's and gets her cup of chili. She has these meals that she rotates through, but she's at a phase of life where she doesn't want to do that. And so I thought to myself, for these clients that struggle with this, I said, if you're 80, you got no kids, husband's gone, what is it you want to do with your eating? Like, what would you want it to look like? Because I see this kind of spiral, right? I have no husband at home, no kids at home for a certain period of time. I'm enjoying this freedom of not having to think about cooking or preparing food for anyone. And so ultimately, if I were to, just enjoy this, why can't I? And I think to myself, most women are probably going to be in this boat. Like, they actually don't want to have to think about it. They want to be able to coast through, but they also probably want to manage their weight. They also want to feel good about themselves. So instead of it just being eating chips out of the pantry, what if we created your 80-year-old self meal plan? So if right now you go, okay, I'm probably not going to cook, but the idea of whipping up a sandwich and eating it sounds good, great, put it on your 80-year-old meal plan. I literally just had a client text me and say, I just did my 80-year-old meal plan because she was really struggling with this. She was like, her husband's on an extended leave and she's got the kids. She doesn't want to have to make big, heavy meals and cook a lot of stuff. So I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? And she said, well, we get pizza once a night, great, put that on the meal plan. If I'm 80 or 90, I'm probably just going to kind of live off sandwiches and maybe hit, a couple key restaurants and get myself, great, put that on your meal plan. Because what this does, even though the cooking is minimal, the prep is definitely minimal, it gives you structure to what could otherwise just become constant grazing and nibbling, okay? I also have a lot of clients who do not have children or husbands. They're single women. And they also can struggle with this. Some people won't mind cooking a little bit, but I see there being okay, I got bigger, better things I want to do with my time. So create this 80, 90-year-old version of yourselves meal plan where you aren't doing a lot of cooking, but write it on paper. Because what will happen without a plan at all, you probably will struggle to eat consistently. And at least if you're putting things on there like a can of soup and a sandwich, or like in my grandmother's case, she gets a turkey sandwich. She knows that what she's eating on rotation, it helps her manage her weight better. And that's one thing I got to give her. She's really good at keeping up with all those things. So I just want to encourage you, even if you're in that boat, you don't love to cook, you don't want to cook, you don't have anyone else to cook for, and you really, that idea of having all that responsibility is not appealing to you, what I would encourage you to do is think about, okay, how can I make this as simplistic, effortless, and what are the restaurants that if I were to hit on a regular basis, I can navigate the calories really well, the portions really well, and make this work for me? Because here's the deal. As women, we're probably going to outlive spouses. Kids definitely are going to move out and move on to other things. At some point, you may be by yourself. So you want to think about establishing habits and behaviors that will serve you for that phase of your life. So that way, and I see this as a huge transition. A lot of people come to me in retirement, and partly that's what they're struggling with. Husband and them are empty nesters. They don't have to do family meals anymore. And so then it's about kind of reestablishing what does meal planning, grocery shopping, all that look like in retirement, the second kind of half of life. So I just want to encourage you to think about it differently. If you're falling in that bucket or you see yourself falling in that bucket, right now, take a sheet of paper, say, okay, visualizing myself 60, 70, 80, whatever the age is, what am I realistically willing to do as far as food if I know that I don't like doing meal plans and food prep and cooking when I'm by myself? Create that. So then if hubby goes out of town, kids are not there, you've got something simplistic you can follow that keeps you moving forward, so you don't find yourself just grazing on whatever's available because you got no plan of what you're going to eat. So I hope this video helps, but it was funny. I had this conversation twice last week with 2 different clients respectively, and their homework was to create their 80-year-old meal plan for when they're 80. And I always think of my Gigi because I could pretty much whip up her meal plan and write it on a sheet of paper because I know what she eats on pretty good rotation. But she knows what she eats, right? Like, she has a plan. It's just not a plan of her cooking and preparing and buying and chopping and sauteing and doing all that stuff. She just eats the food she likes. That doesn't require her to be in the kitchen. She's out living life and enjoying life. So I want you to think about that. If you notice the habit of meal planning, grocery shopping and food prep fall off when you're by yourself because you have the thought, oh, nobody else is here, I don't have to do this. Because that's going to be your thought again in the future. So let's go ahead and make the meal plan for your 80-year-old self now, so you've got that to fall back on during those times. You guys have a great day. Please like, subscribe, share the videos, and I will talk to you soon.